I'm in town because I've just had the guitar serviced, but I'm filming now because I'm en route to drop off. I do like 2 bees beside the Seaside at the art gallery, which is just in front of me. I think one of the first vlogs I ever filmed was dropping off an artwork or coming to see the exhibition at this gallery. Anyway, I have it in tow. Let's hope they don't reject it. Good morning. The unsettled weather is continuing, so we're experiencing days of relative mild weather like today and days where it's pretty hot, and I like to cut my suit to fit my cloth when it comes to this time of year, so I'm always having to be a bit flexible about when I do things, planning ahead by checking the weather forecast. So right now I'm up in the Backwoods. It's pretty early in the morning for starting this type of work, just gone 7, but luckily the battery chainsaw's pretty quiet. So my intention as always is to fill the tray of the ute and take it down and process it. And then later on this morning what I'll be doing is continuing work on the Grevillea garden and a little bit of work in the garden because it's a cooler day today and I don't really like working too hard outside in hot weather because it's, for me, not very pleasant. So anyway, I'll crack on with this and then I'll show you in a bit what I've managed to do in the Grevillea garden. I think I mentioned I was working on that last week. And then I'll show you the finishing touches that I have to do on that project to get that ready for summer. Well, we're in summer now, but ready for the summer season. That's my load sorted. And I wanted to show you something up in the woods I noticed as I was working. These lovely little purple flowers. I think that in bright sunlight they open up and they've got these sort of frilly edges, so you're not seeing them looking at their best. I think I've identified these in the past. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I will flash it up. It's nice to see. I haven't seen a clump as big as this before, so hopefully they're proliferating, which would be nice. But it just goes to show the benefits of managing this woodland, or at least I think it's a benefit. I am starting to see greater diversity of the flora, which is nice, but also does for me go to show the benefits of footpaths. And I have realised that what I'm working on now was one of the pre-existing footpaths. The centre path is just over there and the nan path goes down there and the fire break is there. So this was one of the paths which went from the fire break to the centre path and obviously back again, and will hook up with the nan path once I am able to start doing. I had intended to do the footpath work in November. That was my November task, but November came and went. So I'm just going to try and fit that in where I can. But there's just so much to do. It's like winter is mad because of getting ready for summer. And then I think, well, summer's going to be my downtime. That's where I can take it easy. But I forget that summer is the time where I try to really consolidate my firewood supply, because we're using the fire less, not at all, but less. So I'm trying to build our stocks up, which means coming up to the woods more frequently. But also, of course, I'm mowing the lawns all the time. So anyway, enough excuse making, I suppose. I'll just have to find the time, because I would like to start doing work on re-establishing and improving the footpath network up here. But in my defence, when you think about the other things I've got to do in terms of protecting the property, this is like the icing on the cake. But what I'm trying to do is make a nice cake. So I'm focusing on close to the house for now, and I hope maybe realistically, if not December, January, I'll be able to start on the footpath project, but who knows? Wood processing is done, so as promised, I've come down to the Grevillea garden, which, just to refresh your memory, is this little patch of cleared woods behind the house. Previously the tea tree was much closer, and under the rules of how I'm allowed to manage my property, one of the first things I did when we moved here is push the tea tree back to the 40 or 50 metres it's allowed to be away from the house. And what I do now is, to keep on top of it, I give it a routine strim. So that's what I did, knocked the grass and the regrowth tea tree back a little bit. But whilst I was doing that, I've noticed that, particularly along the bank here, you might be able to see, some of the shrubs are starting to get to proportions that I don't want them to be at. They're too big to strim. So I have come down with my reciprocating saw and these loppers to deal with this. I'll just put it in the back of the Brumby, then I'll take it down to the trailer. And then I'm going to do a little bit of work in there where I've noticed the tea trees popping up in the formal garden. So this should be the last thing I have to do really to get this part of the property summer ready. And then come winter, I'll deal with some of this dead tea tree which has started to crash over and spill over into the cleared area, but it's sufficiently far away that I don't have to worry about it right now. But when I'm able to have bonfires, I'll drag it down and tidy that up a little bit. I do appreciate it may be difficult to see the difference, but this is what I removed, sort of more than I was expecting. However, could have been worse. I also took the opportunity to remove some of the lower branches which had sprouted out of the trees after the fire, sort of much like you can see on that tree, just to help eradicate a bit of the fire ladder effect they have. And there was one other thing I'd show you. It's sort of positive, but don't get your hopes up, kind of. Let's be a bit realistic. You may or may not remember that, or be aware of the fact that Will gifted me recently a jacaranda tree, which I planted here and recorded the process. And the jacaranda tree died, but I hadn't given up on it, and I think this is jacaranda 2.0 sprouting from the ashes of the original jacaranda tree. I'm not sure, but I think it is coming out of the base. So what I think I'll do is I'll re-cage this and, see what happens. The trouble with this soil is that it is prone to basically flooding when it rains because they're on clay, which is why I plant these trees in these mounds so that it's quite a long time before they're into that permanently wet water. But I think this is quite a wet spot, and in spite of my efforts, the jacaranda didn't make it, but maybe it is rising from the ashes, so I'll see what I can do to help it on its way. But I think we must be realistic here. There's every good chance Jacaranda 2.0 isn't going to make it either, but you never know. As you will have seen, I've been busy doing various chores on the property, and I have been rewarded with a little mini break to the house at the seaside. And I thought, just as an interesting comparison, because we're sort of getting to dusk, I'd record a little bit of the sounds of the birds, because we get slightly different birds here than we do up at home. So you probably won't see them, but I hope you'll at least be able to hear a bit of what I'm hearing as I wind down for the evening, and I'll insert a little bit of footage in of the stroll I took along the beach earlier. The tide was out further than it has been when I've previously walked along the beach, probably because I was walking on the beach at a different time of day, which meant that when I reached to the point I'm normally unable to get past, although I still wasn't able to get past it, I was able to see further around it than I've been able to see before, to essentially the next section of beach beyond the cliffs. I probably could have scrambled over them, but I wasn't sure if the tide was going in or going out, and I didn't want to get stranded on the wrong side of the headland. But anyway, here are the birds.